What is crack-a-lackin' Financial Freedom Fast fam? It is Friday when this is dropping, so that means that we are doing another solo ripper here where I give you some actionable steps, some knowledge, and some content to get you on your financial freedom path to reach financial freedom fast, because that is what we are all about on the Financial Freedom Fast podcast. Today, I've got a good one for you and a really meaningful one to me, because this is what I did to make a huge financial dent. It's a huge financial accelerator for your financial future. So, really excited to jump in. And that is buying a 4-unit property as your first investment. So I want to start this off with a little story about my property that I bought, that I'm actually making this podcast from, what happened with it, and what it does for me. Be sure to listen what the hell this thing does for me on a monthly basis, because you get one or two of these and your financial future, you're set. You're literally good. So let's dig into it. When I was 22 years old or so, I made an offer on a 4-unit property and got, after my offer getting declined, somebody came back months later. The bank came back to me as a foreclosed property, and I ended up getting it accepted. And so I had this 4-unit property that was condemned. It was in terrible shape. You guys can reach out to me if you want to see some pictures of this thing. Maybe I'll throw some pictures on the video on YouTube if you want to check that out. But this thing was destroyed, needed some work, huge renovation. And now I was the guy who was like, I didn't even know this needed a full gut renovation. I just figured, you know what? I'll throw some new floors down. I'll have somebody else do that and we could get this done. I don't even know how to swing a hammer, to be honest. So doing this project was way over my head. But when I teach you how I did it, it's like I had training wheels on. The bank was supporting me. I will tell you how. So I had no idea how to to do this stuff, but I used a loan called a 203K loan, and that's a loan that allows you to couple in the purchase price of your property as well as the renovation, and you only have to put 3.5% down to close that property. So I bought this thing for $140,000. It needed 120,000 in renovations. So you take 3.5% down. I only really needed around 10,000 to close on this with other costs, stuff like that. It came in actually around 25,000 I needed to close it, but I got this thing. I got it purchased. Now, the training wheels. Let's go to the training wheels and how the 203K loan acted as training wheels. So the bank in any real estate purchase realistically is the one that's putting the money down. Unless you're buying it cash, the bank is putting money down to buy the property. So it's an asset that they need to be confident in. And since they're putting down 96 and a half, because you only have to put down 3.5% with the 203K loan, the bank has to put down 96.5%. They better make sure it's a good asset or they're going to lose their pants, lose their money. So they want to make sure that everything goes well. So that means that they are realistically supporting you. So with this 203K loan, with the big renovation, they give you an inspector. They make sure that your contractors are verified and you have a good plan in place. They make sure everything is set before they allow you to close and allow you to go in on this thing, or else they won't let you buy it. So my 4-unit. So I did this huge gut renovation. It took me over a year to get this thing done because I didn't know much, but I learned a ton. But now that I have this 4-unit, I live in 1 unit. I rent out all the other units, and it allows me to live for free. It costs me, for my mortgage, taxes, and insurance every month, it costs me $2,104. Now, I also have to pay the water and sewer every month, which costs me $100 every single month. The electric is paid by the tenants, so those are my only costs, really. So all in all, this property cost me around $2,200 a month. That's $2,200. Now, the income for the other 3 units is $3,800. So that's 1,300 for one unit and 1,200 for the other 2 units, and I live in one. So 3,800 minus the 2,200 that I pay every single month, that comes out to $1,600 per month on top of me living for free. $1,600 a month in cash flow from one property. This property pays me $1,600 and I get to live here for free, which I would technically be renting somewhere else for at least 1,400 bucks. So if you look at this property from all in all standpoint, I'm making 1,600 and I'm saving 1,400. This property makes me around $3,000 all in all from one single property. So now let's talk about you. Why should you do something like this? Obviously, you see those financial benefits, but why do I say you should buy a 4 unit or even a 3 unit and not a 2 unit? You've got some lending options here. The amazing lending options that you have, one, you could have a VA loan if you're a veteran. That means you get to put down 0% to buy a 1 to 4 unit property. And you also have access, if you're not a veteran, to the FHA and the 203K loans, which allow you to put down 3.5%. There are also some conventional options that allow you to put down 5% to buy your first property. But there's awesome lending options for a 3 or 4 unit building, which makes it easier for the average starter to get into their first property. Now, the max is a 4 unit. The max that you can buy is a 4 unit property with these types of loans. If you have to live in one of these units, that means that you are going to be stealing a certain percentage of income from the property. If you're living in 1 unit in a 2 unit property, you are stealing. Actually, let's look at it this way. If you're living in a single family house, so a 1 unit property, and no one else is living there, you're stealing 100% of the potential income that house as a business could make. If you have a 2 unit, you live in one, you're stealing 50% of the income that potential property as a business could make. If you're living in one in a 3 unit, 33% you're stealing. You live in a 4 unit, which is the max you could buy. You minimize the amount that you are stealing and you bring that amount all the way down to 25%, which is the best case scenario if you're going with a conventional FHA, VA type loan where you could buy 0 to 4 units. Why would you not want to steal as little income from your business as possible? So now that we see that it makes the most financial sense to not steal money from your business and not live in a 2 unit, but rather get a 3 unit or a 4 unit to minimize the amount that you are stealing from that business, from yourself, how do we find a 4 unit building? So the first thing, which is good that we're doing this, is to be crystal clear on what you want. If you want a 4 unit in this town at this price point, you know exactly what you want. And then you can only look for that type of property with those guidelines. If you say, I could buy a 2 unit or a 3 unit or a 4 unit, you're all over the place. It's going to be hard to narrow in and find something that you really want to buy for yourself. So zone in, have some crystal clear criteria for what you want. Get a 3 unit if a 3 unit makes sense, financial sense in your market. Some markets are a little more expensive than others. If you can get a 4 unit, get a 4 unit. Now, these are hard to find. It's harder to find these properties because everybody wants a 4 unit because it makes so much financial sense. So go find an agent that's going to work hard and let them know exactly what you're looking for in your crystal clear criteria, but do not rely on them. An agent could bring you stuff. Most likely they have other buyers that they can bring stuff to as well. They could just post something on the market, get it sold right away. Make sure that is not your only way. Make sure you're looking on Zillow, looking at things that pop up every single day. Set alerts on Zillow. There's ways to go onto Zillow, put in your criteria, put in that you want an easy way to do this is go on Zillow, put in a multi-unit property is the property type that you want, and then you want to go to bathrooms and put the bathrooms to 4 plus. So basically, what you're saying here to Zillow right there is I want a multifamily property with more than 4 bathrooms. You could get a 2 unit that has 2 bathrooms in each unit, but at least it's going to filter your properties down and give you the best chance of being notified when a 4 unit comes up. Now, another way to do this, which I will go over on a future version, is to cold call. Cold call an owner. Find an owner with a 4 unit building. Call up, especially if you're young. It's so much easier. Call up and say, hey, I'm a 24-year-old kid. I'm trying to get into my first property because I see the financial benefits of real estate. I'm looking for a 4 unit for myself. I was wondering if you happen to know anyone who has something, or if you could just teach me a bit about real estate. If not, when you're making these cold calls, don't call just trying to buy the property. Try to get a golden nugget of information, some type of information from that owner that shows that you're just trying to learn. You're not just trying to call up and buy their property. You're trying to call them, learn about real estate. And you know what? If they know someone that has a 4 unit property, awesome. And maybe when you ask them, hey, do you know anyone that has one of these? Maybe they have one. If you've done the research that I can teach you how to do, you can find out if they have a 4 unit property. And if they do, maybe they'll want to sell it to you. But I hope I clarified some goals and visions for yourself today. It makes so much sense to buy a 4 unit as your first property. It can change your financial future, it can accelerate you financially beyond years beyond where anybody else maybe in your friend group that hasn't done something like this is at. And it can give you such a big jump towards reaching financial freedom fast. And that is what we are all about on this podcast, Financial Freedom Fast Podcast. We are here to make that happen for you. So if you have any questions about this, or you want to learn more about how to do this for yourself, feel free to reach out to me. Shoot me a follow, shoot me a message on all social media: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff at Matt Amabile. That's Mattamabile. Yeah. If you're listening to this on Friday, have an amazing weekend. I am really excited for your future. And now we're going to jump to the outro. Peace.